Hello everyone, this is national bestseller How Come No One Told Me That by Prakash Iyer, and this is chapter number 1. Simply we head on to life lessons. So this is a fun conversation that the author has given us. I love conversations with cab drivers and vegetable vendors, liftmen and waiters at restaurants. I find it fascinating learning about their lives and hearing their perspectives. It's a terrific reminder that there is another world out there and another view. And being able to see things from that perspective, if only for a short while, is hugely rewarding. I get a lot of my stories and lessons and inspiration from these conversations. Ordinary people sharing extraordinary wisdom. All you need to strike up a conversation is some curiosity and willingness to learn, and a belief that everyone has a story to tell. And yes, you will also need a leave aside by any feeling you may have of being on a higher plane or being smarter or wiser or superior. That's a no no. Try it, strike up a conversation, and get ready for an extraordinary wisdom from ordinary folks. Chapter 1, A Boat Ride to Remember. It is said that no visit to Kerala is complete without a boat ride in backwaters. And predictably enough, if I was to pick one of my fondest memories of a holiday in Kerala, it would be of a ride in a canoe in the backwaters of Ashtamudi Lake, watching the sunrise. And the man who made it possible was the boatman Vimalan, a man who pilots his own little boat under the banner of Munro Island Canoe Service. And to see what a fantastic job he's doing, you only need to look him up on TripAdvisor. Several grateful guests have been lavish in their praise. And in their ratings, with over 300 reviews, Vimalan has a near 5-star rating. Vimalan speaks only Malayalam, but his son Vijesh, who is the boss of the business, speaks English. He guided us to the spot where we needed to go to get on the canoe, and we agreed to be there at 5 a.m. the next morning, sharp. We set out in the darkness, drove for about an hour, and reached the appointed place. On the left side of the road, in the middle of the nowhere, was Vimalan, waiting in the dark with a torch in his hand. We parked the car and walked along as he led us down a narrow path through a little field to the bank of the backwaters where we saw the canoe waiting. We hopped on, and over the next 150 minutes or so, we had a ride of a lifetime. Vimalan took us down little streams, past homes and under trees. The early morning dew and the chirping of the birds made it a veritable feast for the eyes and ears, and for the soul too. Stepping onto a canoe can be a bit unnerving for a first timer. Your mind instinctively flashes back to the physics class in the high school. You start to jog your memory and you try to recall Archimedes' principle and wonder whether that little log of wood can hold all four of you. It was a Venice-like picture postcard experience. There were several low overhead bridges we passed under, and each time Vimalan would warn us and ask us to bend and mind our heads as we sailed under those bridges. Then almost magically the little stream merged into the huge Ashtamudi Lake. It's time for us to watch a breathtaking sunrise. The rising sun seemed to be painting the waters of the lake in the shades of red, orange, and yellow. And through it all, Vimalan regaled us with a non-stop banter about his myriad guests. Part boatman, part magician, and part storyteller. Vimalan made sure that we all had a spectacular, memorable experience. But it didn't end there. As I went through the day, images from that ride keep flashing in my mind. And Vimalan's voice and our conversations with him kept playing back. That was when it dawned on me. Not only had Vimalan given us a ride to remember, he had also shared with us several life lessons. Here then are some of the life lessons from Vimalan and the sunrise ride in a canoe. In choosing a road to take in life, don't take the easier path. Choose the one that takes you to your goals. We were four of us in the canoe, and Wimbledon was the one doing all the hard work navigating the canoe with an oar in his hand. We felt guilty about the hard work we were putting him through. The little streams we were traversing merged and split, and we often wondered how Wimbledon remembered which turn to take. Sometimes the current seemed to help us, while the other times it seemed against us. Once, at a fork in the water, we saw him turn into a little stream where the current was against us. Someone asked him why he didn't take the other stream. The current would have been in our favor there, and that would have made it so much easier for him. And that was when William shared with us a terrific life lesson. He said that the course he takes isn't determined by which is the easier path. It is determined by where we want to go. We needed to watch the sunrise, so he had to take us to the place from where we could see it. Taking the path where the current was on our side might have made for an easier rowing experience, but we wouldn't have been able to see the sunrise. Now that's a lesson we would all do well to remember. Don't do what's convenient, do what's necessary. In making a choice about which road to take, don't take the nicer, easier road. Instead, choose the road that will take you towards your goal. Second, no matter how powerful you are, when someone says lower your head, you better do that. Every once in a while, we would pass under a bridge, and as we got closer, Wimland would tell us to be careful and bend our heads. After we had done this several times, Wimland talked about people he had ferried on his boat. There were several VIPs in that long list: heads of states and movie stars, bureaucrats and business stars, and sports stars too. He then said something which seemed so profound in the hindsight. He said it didn't matter how high and mighty the guest on his boat was, they all had to lower their heads and bend when he asked them to. A good reminder that in our lives, in our work, we all need to let go of our egos and learn to bend when we need to. Failing to do can cause a lot of harm. Look around the people you admire. Most of the time, you will find you'll find in them a sense of humility and an absence of ego. When faced with a challenge or a bridge, everyone gets down to doing what's necessary. You may be the CEO of a billion-dollar enterprise, but on the boatman is the boss, and you need to listen to him. When he says bend, you bend, or else. Third is, to do something special, you need to be willing to take a risk. Somewhere along the ride, one of my friends looked at the canoe we were riding in and asked Wimbledon a question. Where are the life jackets? Don't you have life jackets here? Wimbledon replied that on his canoe there were no life jackets. There was just him. And then, in the reassuring voice of a man who had seen life, he shared another pearl of wisdom. In life, if you want to see magical sunrises, you need to be willing to forego the life jacket and trust the boatman. That's so true. In life and business too, there isn't always a safety net. If you want to do something special, you have got to be willing to take the risk. And you have got to be willing to trust a colleague or a partner or a friend and believe that you are in safe hands. As someone once said, a ship is safest when it's in the harbor, but then that's not where the ships are meant to be. Take a chance, don't worry about the failure, trust people, and chances are you will end up doing things you may have never thought were possible, like seeing a magical sunrise on the Ashtamudi lake. So next time you're in Kerala, do plan a canoe ride with Wimbledon. You will experience unparalleled calm and serenity as you sail down the backwaters, past the river into the lake, and you will see sights you would have never seen before. And listen closely, and Wimbledon will make sure he imparts a few life lessons along the way too. Thank you, Wimbledon, for a ride for a lifetime and for the life lessons. 3 life lessons from the canoe ride. In choosing which road to take, don't take the nicer and easier road. Choose the one that will take you towards your goal. You may be the CEO of a billion-dollar enterprise, but on the boat, the boatman is the boss. You need to listen to him when he says, bend, you bend, or else. If you want to do something special, you have got to be willing to take the risk. And you have got to be willing to trust a colleague or a partner or a friend and believe that you are in safe hands. Thank you. Bye bye.